right.
You're listening to the Not So Black and White Real Estate Podcast with your hosts, Sir Colin Campbell and Gary A. McGowan.
Good afternoon. It's your host, Sir Colin Campbell, alongside Gary A. McGowan, and you're tuned into the Not So Black and White Real Estate Podcast. We have a special guest, by popular demand, I must say. The guest is none other than Brian Ellis.
Brian, how you doing, my man?
Hey, doing amazing. How are you?
I'm good. I'm loving, okay, we didn't mention this in any of the pre-show or anything like that, but I am loving what's right behind you on the wall there.
Yeah.
What is that?
The lion there? The
lion?
Yeah, we got a nice some nice wall art here, just a lion, and I just got some quotes up on the other sides here, but yeah, you know.
Oh, I see Mike. I see Mike from
yeah,
Suits.
There's Mike.
There you go.
Mike Ross.
Mike and Harvey got my back here. There we go.
Nice. Love it.
Beautiful,
Love
beautiful.
it.
So yeah, Brian Ellis is on the show with us today, and one of the top individual agents, and I'll call it out right now, one of the coolest TikTokers that I know as well. Provides some tremendous amount of content there. But Brian, for those of us that don't know you, who's Brian Ellis? Give us that 60-second background bio before we get into all the nit and gritty of everything.
Yeah, no, that sounds amazing. I've been in real estate 10 years, based out of Kitchener, Waterloo. Married with 2 baby girls. They're 7 and 5. And just working hard, having fun, and living the dream.
Beautiful. Okay, so there's actually, even though that was probably 30 seconds, I actually took a lot out from that. So, a younger dad and balancing life and everything like that, and an individual agent. There's lots that we can go on here, Colin. But
absolutely,
give us a little bit of a baseline, if you will, before we get into some of those questions. Talk to us a little bit about your business, where it comes from, who your clients are, and the like.
Yeah, totally. So my business, it comes from 3 sources, really. It's social media, past clients, and referrals. And most of my clients are, busy families, just like myself. And what was the other question there, Gary?
Yeah, talk to it. Yeah. So where your clients are coming from through your sphere of influence, in a sense, and how are you connecting with those clients? What's kind of your number one source, or how important do you feel that is?
Yeah. So, sometimes I'm like a broken record, but for me, I just always say it's social media, because social media is the hub where I keep in touch with, my past clients, keeping in touch with, just everyone, gaining new people. Social media is the hub, and I love it because it's not in your face. Like, if someone's chilling at the end of the day, maybe they can connect with me at night in their downtime. It's not me, bugging them per se, right? It's kind of this enjoyable 2-way street. They're staying in touch with me, I'm staying in touch with them. It's something that really fits well for me, at least.
Yeah, cool.
Interesting.
So a few people are stopping in to say hi here, Colin, before you take over. Stevie Susie says, woo, Brian, I should say. And then
hey, Stevie.
I got the stream up on my phone, and for whatever reason, it didn't come up in our notes here. But Jenna has the exact same line on her wall that you do on yours. So all of a sudden, you guys just became best friends.
So you did mention social media a lot. Which is your preferred choice? Is it TikTok? Is it IG, Facebook, where you spend most of your time, or you're seeing you're attracting most of your clients?
Yeah, so traditionally it was always Facebook. I even in the early days I was on Twitter, and I've gotten business from Twitter, but that's kind of dialed back now. But basically Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. But Facebook and Instagram, but just everyone, of course, used to be on Facebook, and then everyone migrated, let's say 5 years ago, more to Instagram, and then TikTok's the new kid in town, right? So before, all the kids were on Instagram, now all the kids are on TikTok, but it's not just the kids now. Like I've connected with a lot of people, older than us here on TikTok, but it's definitely the up and coming social media platform. So obviously, as an agent, you got to be there, otherwise you're going to be left behind. And I had a video go viral on TikTok, so I went from 200 followers to 25,000 followers in 2 days.
Wow.
So there's a lot.
Well,
we can
first
unpack
thing
there.
before you do that, Gary.
Yeah.
So anyone who's listening, they need to go follow Brian Ellis on TikTok and Instagram. So do that now. And sorry to Gary.
Good. So how do people get a hold of you on TikTok, Brian?
Yeah, it's at Brian Keith Ellis.
At Brian Keith Ellis. There you go. Go follow. So you'll get another 25,000 followers before the end of the show.
Yeah.
Or 25. I can't, one of those two numbers. It'll be in between there.
Yeah.
So, okay, you said something pretty cool because we've had some other people on too, like for instance, a Stevie Susie that has had some really cool exposure on TikTok and or social media, we should say. So, okay, what's it like to go from, the few hundred followers to, like you said, the 25,000 and the, there, you do have a video that, like you said, went viral. And the last time I looked, I quickly took a glance. It was well over 3 million views, right?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
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 What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It was my 15 minutes of fame, so to speak, eh? So.
Huh.
Yeah, very good. 3.6 million views. There you go, Colin. That's the number. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so what was it? Because I have it right here, but I can explain it. Yeah. But you were in it, so tell us what it was and the uniqueness of it, perhaps.
Yeah. So, basically, my clients bought an old church in Princeton, Ontario, just 30 minutes outside Kitchener, and they converted it into a beautiful, unique dream home. So it was just me opening the front doors to the church and doing a quick little tour. And we originally shot it actually for Instagram Reels because we thought, okay, well, Instagram Reels, they're really pushing that. But then I, of course, also posted it on TikTok. And I posted it around 2 o'clock one day. And then it was like 4 o'clock that day. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like it just got 20,000 views. Checked again another few minutes. It just got another 40,000 views. So I knew it was going viral when it just kind of spread like fire like that, but just a really unique property. One thing I love about TikTok is it's always put to cool music. So it was put to some, just a fun song and put a little bit of details about the property in there. And then I put a link to the listing and the YouTube video on TikTok there. So got a bunch of views from there. Yeah, it boosted everything. I got a bunch of followers even on Instagram, but just was a really cool, unique home. And people love seeing it. A lot of people like doing comments saying, oh, I think it's haunted, kind of silly stuff like that. But I made sure to kind of like and comment on everyone's video. TikTok eventually kind of put me in social media jail because I was liking and commenting, because I thought the more likes and comments, the more engagement, but they kind of banned me from commenting for 24 hours. So then I got out and kept at it. But, and social media engagement's, of course, important. But yeah, it just was a cool house. And I've had a little bit of success still with some certain videos, but TikTok definitely challenges you to do marketing. And this is what I think we'll see more of is, in really interesting and new ways. Not everyone wants to see, a 5-minute long video, but if it's 10 seconds and it's, let's say, share worthy, then it catches on better.
Yeah.
So now you mentioned share worthy. Sorry, dear Gare. For someone who is getting into the industry, who has decided, okay, I'm going to build my business or build one of my arm as in lead generation arm from social media. How does one create such share-worthy content, savable content?
Sorry, Can you hear me, Colin?
Yep.
Yeah. Do you need me to repeat what was said?
I unplugged my speakers. Now it's
Yeah,
kind of
you don't
freezing
want to
up or
do that.
something here.
Okay.
We still got you.
Let it let us know when you can hear us, and we're good to go.
So what are you jump in here, Brian, when you get us back. One of the cool things here, Colin, is that Brian mentioned is, this type of marketing or social media marketing
I think I might have froze up on my end. I can't hear you guys.
Really?
we can hear you
Might have
just fine.
to. I might have to get out and come back in again.
Okay, do that. We got you.
Yeah. Go and come back. Yes.
So as I was saying, and as Brian was alluding to, TikTok, social media is a platform, or all social media platforms, it's not necessarily in someone's face
That is it.
from the aggressive point, right? And people can tune you out as fast as they want, right? And that to me is the really uniqueness part of it.
But it was the
we bring
same thing
Brian back
that
on here.
it was the same thing that Stevie and Haley said.
Yeah.
On social media, you can reach out and they'll respond whenever they feel like. And you're never coming across as that person, who's always pushy. And, we're going to be asking Brian what are some of the things that he's doing when he's just reaching out, connecting with his potential clients as well. But my question that was being asked, Brian, um, what are the secrets to creating a share-worthy and savable message in social media?
So I guess to some degree it depends on the platform. Like with TikTok, if it's but I guess there is some commonalities. Humor is usually a huge one, and it's always a balance, right? Because there's some agents that just do these ridiculous listing videos, right? Where maybe they're doing a rap or something, and it's just really out there. But at the end of the day, this is selling people's often hugest asset. So it's a really delicate balance. You got to treat it with a lot of care. But to make it share worthy, humor, just uniqueness, interesting, it has to be fairly fast paced. Um, it it's kind of interesting in real estate because it's like, okay, here's another 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home. So sometimes it can be a challenge to create something unique and that is share worthy. And at the end of the day, not everything's going to be share worthy. But if you kind of wrap it all together, kind of in a unique package where you do some things that are share worthy, some things you're gonna do, and no one's maybe gonna care, but at least you have the audience there because you're creating something special.
Yep.
But
Yep.
so there's and just like my video that went viral, I didn't. I knew that listing video. I knew it was going to be my most watched listing video on Instagram, or sorry, on YouTube. It got 10,000 views. Before that, our record was 1,000 views. But yeah, people just want to watch something that's I think number one is probably fun, something fun and exciting.
Yeah.
Something interesting, something unique.
And I think it's important too. I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely love when realtors bring their own personality and humor to it, right? Because for years it was very straight laced, and this is that 3-bedroom, like just as you said, and this is the bathroom, here's the kitchen. Like, create some humor around it, have some fun with it, because that's your personality. And it's almost like people had to be given permission to have a personality on social media or on camera. I love it. I think those are the videos for me. I watch those videos more than anything else. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, it also allowed the agent to pretty much be themselves, because they're seeing you outside of the suit and tie. And Gary, it might just be you with your baseball cap now, and when they show up when you show up at that home, that is how they expect to see you. They don't need this, you don't need to go be that different person for them. So it allows us to, I think, in a sense, to truly be who we are. And if we're authentic, that is going to show through, and that connection is made. Because our last video about social media, a lot was said about authenticity. So Brian, tell us a bit about that. And
That's the thing. That's the same thing I always say, right? Like people want to do business with people they like, know, and trust. And
yeah,
I'm 100% the same way.
absolutely.
So yeah, the last thing you want to be is someone that you're not, and you're now connecting with people that you're not. It's just not going to work, right? So that's been one of my maybe secret to successes is I just kind of laser focus on everything in life, but especially who I'm working with, because when it's a fit, it's amazing, and when it's not a fit, like it's horrendous, right? So I always say good people know good people. If they're a problem client, all their friends probably are as well. So you you don't want that.
That's well said. That's well said. And talk to us a little bit about, you're on the show today because you're also one of the top producers as an individual agent. And we've had the opportunity to interview a lot of top teams and team owners and how they manage their team and everything like that. But the reality is, Brian, this is exactly why you're here today. Is there's really the majority of the real estate world, in a sense, is almost operates as an individual agent, and love to talk to you about that. Who do you have around you to support you in your business before we kind of get into some of the other questions around that? I'd love to know about that first.
Yeah, absolutely. So two part-time admins, my media professional, my stager, and then just of course the other background people that everyone has. Lawyer, home inspector, um, sign installer, just everyone kind of in the background like that. But yeah, I do like it to be kind of small and fast moving and personal. That's one unique thing that I try to do.
What I like that was mentioned there, Gear, and thanks for mentioning this, Brian, is as much as you're an individual agent, you're leveraging these other professionals. And you're saying, yes, I'm the individual working in this transaction. However, I don't come alone. I have my lawyer, I have my stager, I have my real estate. So that there just shows power. And I think so many agents sell themselves short by just saying, yeah, it's me alone. Yes, you're an individual agent. However, leverage the people in your circle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, and I guess one key piece too that I didn't mention as well is, like myself, I work with people I like, know, and trust. So if typically 99% of the time, if I get a sign call, I'll pass it off to someone else and just do a referral on it.
Okay.
Wow.
There's a whole door you just opened up there.
Whoa.
And Cullen knows how I operate. I love referrals.
Yes.
I talk to us. Okay, what that means, essentially is, Brian, you're receiving a sign call, which is somebody calling on one of your listings, right?
Yep.
And you're there to work in the best interest of your seller and also the best interest of you and your family.
Mm-hmm.
And you see an opportunity to refer that potential buyer to somebody else, not really associated within your team, but whom I'm assuming you have a great business relationship with. Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
And what you're doing, and talk to us why this is so important. You're protecting your time, your family's time by doing that. I'd love to get into that a little bit, because as individual agents, I mean, we've all been there at some point where we're going, 100 miles an hour. We haven't been home for dinner in 3 weeks. But from what I'm sensing, you see the bigger picture there. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so it's something in my business that's worked really well for me. As you're starting out in real estate, you'll grab on to anything, right? But yeah, I have the base that drives me forward, and I basically do. We can talk more about this too, but I basically, my goal every year is to do 50 deals a year. We're at 31 right now, so I had a schedule, but it's I guess partly too, talking about the solo agent part is, and part of my success is, yeah, some people want to grow big teams. I want to do what I like and love. And I don't want to be leading a big team and not now working with people buying and selling homes, which I love. I don't love, training agents. That's not me. So that's why with these referrals, I send it off. They're competent in what they're doing, but I send it and that's it. I trust them to wrap it up at the end of the day. If they don't buy that home, they'll buy another home, or maybe that lead doesn't buy a home at all, right? You know how it is, but it's just really about freeing up my time to do what I want to do, who I want to do it with, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Now help us to dig a little deeper on that because as like you rightfully said, as a solo agent, you know, your goal is still 50 deals a year. And when you now get into the industry, you know, even if there's a showing in Sault Ste. Marie, you almost want to go to that because, you know, that's your only deal you might have. When did that switch happen in your business for you to say, as a sign call, you know what, I'm going to just refer this out so that I can protect my time?
Yeah, so I I started as a solo agent in real estate just about 10 years ago, and then joined a team about 9 months after. And then once I left that team, short that's when my business really exploded. Business was really good, even 9 months into real estate. It was tough, but once I left the team, um, then that's when it really took off. And so probably about maybe a year or two in as a solo agent, that's kind of when I reached that level where I didn't need to, I kind of had my people, and I didn't need, like, people still connect with me on social media, but that's where I know them. So if they're just kind of a cold lead because they just saw it on realtor.ca and they don't know me and I don't know them, then you don't really have that foundation. So I would just send it. But yeah, it was about a year or two after being a solo agent.
That's important.
Interesting.
And the first thought too is, well, hang on a second. If I refer this out, that means I'm going to earn a lot less than I possibly could. Well, hang on a second. I always say to people, you haven't heard anything yet,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And what I'm hearing is you'd much rather refer it out to protect your time than perhaps that extra $5, 10, $15,000 per transaction, for instance, because that, it's all around the mental health piece and all around your family
Mm-hmm.
time and how stretched you get. And
Yeah.
I'm sure you'd be the first to admit, even doing 50 transactions a year as an individual agent, that's still really, really busy. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. And was there a big obstacle to get over, knowing that, well, hang on a second, I still want to get all of that commission perhaps that I'm referring away? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Um, well, it's kind of the reverse, really, because because if I'm hanging on to these, these little things, then I can't go after big things, right? So it's kind of the reverse of what you might think, right? It's kind of letting go of something. It's the classic. If I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? So just deciding what to go after and what not.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love the reverse of that. I'm saying no to this so I can say yes
Yes.
to what I really want. Right. And I think that's what you're saying there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
And you had mentioned that, you know, married with two kids. How old are your kids?
Yeah. 5 and 7.
5 and 7. So it's a very young age, right?
Yeah.
And it's very demanding. And by the time you get home from work, your wife is exhausted, and you even playing with them after a while because they require so much energy. You're exhausted as well. So how are you managing a business and a massive business, as you're saying, with two young kids?
Well, yeah, I always say to people, my wife, she's the one that takes care of the kids and I sell homes. So we're a great team like that, right? So but I still have a ton of family time. One of my secrets of success, I would say, is, I think I do a good job of balancing work and life as much as possible. Sometimes, of course, it's super busy, and then other times it's not. So it's always kind of this up and down cycle, but just go at it in the busy times, and then in the down times, rest up. But kind of just throughout the day, I try to just create that balance. Um, like if I was door knocking, for example, let's just say that's what I did in my early days of real estate, grinding it out on the street. But now if I was doing that, COVID aside, I would not be my best later in the day because I'd be, exhausted from door knocking out in the heat or a snowstorm or whatever it might be. Where now I've kind of structured my business. It's really all based on attraction rather than, going out there and having to, like, I hustle harder, obviously, but it's maybe smarter, not harder, except it's maybe smarter and harder, just not as hard as it could be.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned balance, right? And sometimes that you're gonna have to be working long hours, and in the slower times, using that to, be there with your family and be present. How do you manage when it's busy for, that peak of the market, and you're seeing your family, or you're spending less time with your family? How do you manage that? Is it a guilty feeling you're feeling at that point? What does it look like?
Well, I manage it really well. I guess to kind of go back to the basics, like it's kind of interesting because I've kind of just really just worked obsessively for the past 10 years. So, early mornings, late nights, but you just have to know when to keep going and when to take a pause. And a lot of my business, it is just, through my phone. One thing I do is a lot of, text communications. I'm the kind of guy that's rarely on the phone call. Like maybe I'm your classic millennial where I see a phone call and I'm like, why does my phone do this? Like I'm trying to do something right now and a call comes up, right? Like my voicemail literally says like, hey, it's a really, really long voicemail because it's encouraged to make them either, I want them to either
Hang
text
up.
me or email me. So it's a very long message. But of course, if a 90-year-old grandma calls me, yeah, leave a message, right? But ideally, I want
I
to
hope
talk.
that's in your voicemail, actually. Unless you're a 90-year-old grandmother, please leave a message.
Yeah, there you go. Be right back. I got to make that change, eh? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome.
But yeah, because it's a lot easier when you're busy, like, just to send a quick message than to chat on the phone, right? Like maybe an agent calls you and instead of a 10-minute, hey, how are you? Oh, the market, eh? They just want to know, like, are you holding offers or not? So yes, Tuesday, done.
I like it. Okay, so Colin, it might be that time.
It is that time.
It is that time. So we're going to move into this little scene here. We're going to put you on the hot seat, into the fire, into the furnace. And we call this rapid fire. So if you've seen it before, you know what this is all about. We ask some very serious questions here during this moment. And if you're listening on the podcast, as you know, I'm shaking my head. And Brian's already answered the first question, so I'm going to give you a pass on it. But here's the first question, right? Let's play a little Yeah, you are the best. A little background music. Would you rather be talking or texting? The answer is
Texting.
Texting. Okay. Favorite season of the year?
Let's go with summer.
Summer. I like it. Is it wrong? This is important. Is it wrong for a vegetarian to eat animal crackers?
No, it's not wrong.
Not wrong. There you have it, folks. It's not wrong. Okay, this should be interesting. I always like this question. First celebrity crush.
First celebrity crush. Let's go with Shania Twain.
Shania Twain, did not see that coming. That might be a first here on the show. That might. I'm trying to think of one of her songs.
The
I
next
can't.
question, Gary: whose boots have your bed been under?
Yeah.
There you have it. Wow. It's actually a really great question, isn't it? We might have to add that to this
We'll
list
add
you're
that to
going.
rapid fire.
Yeah. Favorite junk food?
Let's go with the ice cream hamburgers.
Ice cream and hamburger. Man, I feel like a woman. That's one of her other song titles, isn't it?
Yeah.
There we go. I got one. Is double dipping at a party ever acceptable?
Unfortunately, not, which is frustrating.
Right? It is frustrating. It is. Big dogs or small dogs?
Let's go with medium size.
That wasn't a choice. Cake?
That's who I am.
Yeah, cake or pie?
Let's go with pie.
Pie. Okay. Now this
Yeah.
this question is definitely important. It's high in the importance scale. Name one of the 7 dwarfs.
Let's go with Sleepy.
You are the winner. That is by far. If we've asked 100 people, 99 people have said Sleepy.
Yeah.
There you have it. That's pretty good. Okay.
Be some cognitive thing.
Yeah, it must be. And I used to always say, right, Cullen, don't read into the answer.
Nope.
Okay, last question. And this will have an impact on what side of the friendship wall, if you will, that you are with Colin. How about we say it like that? The Godfather or Star Wars?
Colin's going to be disappointed. I'm not big fans of either, but let's go with Star Wars.
All right. There you have it, Star Wars. You lost another friend, Colin. Very good. A little fun that we like to have on the show. Awesome. Awesome.
It's funny because you learn so much from a person with these rapid fire questions. And thank you for playing along. Learned a lot more about you there. Gary, thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Sleepy. It always comes up.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah. I don't know. Can you honestly remember dopey, sleepy, grumpy? Or am I just making it all up?
Doc.
Doc, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna look it up later. Huh.
Yeah. Not allowed. Okay, back to taking care of your business and growing your business and protecting your business. Perhaps that's the question, the line of question I really want to get to is how are you protecting your business and in a sense adding market share so you keep hitting that 50 and offering those referrals out? I think that's an important question, especially as an individual agent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me, it's, number one, working with great people, doing an amazing job, and just keeping in touch. It's really a relationship built business for myself. But yeah, I always say, you want to do an amazing job. Like maybe you go through a drive-through and, you ask for a medium double and that's what they give you. Like, who cares, right? But if they go over and above and, well, just like you see it with Roll Up at the Rim back in the day, someone gets a free coffee, they're so excited. The coffee costs like $1 or $2 and it made their day, right? So, when you go over and above, that's where the word of mouth really catches on, because if you do an okay job, no one cares. You do a good job, no one cares. You do a great job, now they're telling everyone, right? So so that kind of mixed with of course it's relationships. When you truly care, and it's not about the money, it's more about helping people. They're more like friends or family than a client, right? It's kind of just taking it up a notch.
And isn't it funny how sometimes, at least I do, I underestimate the value of like those little drop-in gifts or surprises. Like Colin, last week, we had Quantum Leap, and you and your team and others took a part of it. And I'm not saying this to pat myself on the back. That's not the point. But I showed up with, a few adult beverages for the afternoon,
It
and
was
the
beautiful.
morale just went from like, having fun to like, oh my gosh, like, and then one of our call coordinators, she brought in a box of donuts and just all those surprises as you're talking about, Brian. Like everyone was just kind of in good moods and good spirits and
Yeah,
everything, right?
I'm looking forward to tomorrow, Gary. Let's see what you bring over.
Yeah.
Now, COVID, as I think COVID is, really separated the good agents from the great agents, or it's made some agents great. During this time, what have you implemented in your business that you've seen huge success? Without COVID, you would have never done it.
Good question.
it's a good question. That's a good question. Well, sometimes I kind of joke around because with COVID, it kind of brought everyone onto my way of doing things. Like I wasn't big into open houses before. I wasn't big to going in the office. You can see my basement office bunker here. But so there was things that we did, like we always loved doing client appreciation events. So instead of um, doing those, then we kind of just pivoted minorly, right? So instead of um, renting out Sky Zone on Family Day, we mailed out like Starbucks gift cards to our clients, saying like, hey, go for a family drive and enjoy some Starbucks, right? So nothing major has shifted. Because of COVID, except for really client appreciation events. Though we still got one in the fall because there was, we were kind of in between waves, I guess, so to speak. Then, so we were able to do that. But there hasn't been a whole lot of major shifts. It's more people have been shifting on to how I operate.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
that's interesting, and I like that you didn't have to alter your business to kind of fit what was going on out there in the industry or with the pandemic and everything like that. And I also think it's pretty cool that your your platform was kind of ready for it in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a
Yeah.
matter of adding, tweaks and things like that as you're going to do probably during any sort of transitioning market or business, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The sail, so to speak, like if a ship was set, and I've just been, you know, riding the waves.
Hmm,
Yeah. Yeah. Very good.
interesting. Now, with and you mentioned this in terms of client events
Yeah.
and the way things were over the last, year and a half. Do you see your business going back to having huge client events, or are you going to be changing somewhat to adapt to our new norm?
Yeah. Well, we're still going to do them for sure. Yeah. In 2019, we hosted Frozen 2 at the movie theater because, as I said, I got two baby girls, as I call them. So Frozen 2 for us was the movie of the year, right? So
Yeah.
rented a theater. All of our clients saw it the day after it came out. And, instead of just renting a theater and whatever, we rented some actors, Anna and Elsa. So they got some pictures with the kids. They did some songs. We're so grateful that we did that because who knew in 2 months, like, or 4 months or whatever. Oh yeah, and even that year, we still in 2020 we still went to Sky Zone on Family Day. My business slogan is, we play off of the acronym, Brian Ellis sales team, so best. So only the best for you and your family. So Family Day we kind of claim as like our holiday. So we always would do Sky Zone. In 2020 we still did that. It was still normal. Family Day 2020. So it's, now Sky Zone's out of business. They're not here anymore, right? But we'll do other
Oh,
things. Yeah, we'll do other things, but we're definitely going to keep at it. And I'm not successful because of the client events. Like they to my clients, it's just a bonus, right? And it's also kind of a talking point where it's like, hey, what did you do this family day? And then, oh, my real estate agent rented Sky Zone. And it's like, what? My agents never did that, like, all I got was, a box of animal crackers when my house closed, So
I hope that's not a
Hey,
thing.
hey, don't be shooting down animal
hopefully that
crackers.
wasn't from Gary there.
Yeah.
I
Colin's got to
like animal
rethink
crackers.
everything.
I like animal crackers. Hello.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah,
What's
so we'll keep at it, right? So
yeah.
as we're allowed.
Yeah. And what are you looking to add? You're always talking about, the client experience and things like that. And are you looking to add a few things this year or to support your clients? What does that look like?
Yeah, so for adding things, well, I like to kind of think of myself as a non-traditional agent. Like, I'm all about kind of staying consistent and just doing an amazing job. Um, so that's just kind of the plan. We're just going to stay consistent and just keep doing it. Though we always love adding things. One thing that's different about me is we've kind of created like a lifestyle brand. So playing off of that best, it's the lifestyle brand is live your best life. So we have a lot of like, swag, like, hoodies and hats and, mugs. We're always kind of coming up with new stuff just to give to our clients to, just as an item of value and to keep us, of course, top of mind. But we're always kind of adding small things, but I don't really foresee anything major this year, just kind of keeping at it, really.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I know you mentioned animal crackers, as closing gifts. What are you actually doing for closing gifts?
Yeah, that's a good question. We used to do a lot of like signs, like, kind of a custom sign or a welcome mat. But yeah, even recently we haven't really done a whole lot. We've just kind of given some of our best swag and whatnot, and people are happy with it. But yeah, I still like to do kind of the signs sometimes, the mats sometimes. It's kind of like a bonus. It's not like it's not a given. It's just, maybe we do it, maybe we don't, right? You know,
Mhm.
but it depends on the client and things like that. But
Gotcha.
either way, everyone's always invited out to different events and we like to keep it fun and interesting. So maybe you're not expecting something, but then a year later you get something. Like one of my clients, they love baseball. So then I got them kind of, oh yeah, well, I got them a home kind of, I mean, a sign kind of like this one behind me here, the baseball one, but it's like
Yep.
a baseball plate and it says there's no place like home. And they're big baseball fans, right? So they bought the home like a year ago, but I saw the sign and I'm like, you know what, I got to get it for them. So, I think it definitely, made their day. And so we like to do things like that.
I love that. I love that. So, whether or not you did something for them already at closing, but just kind of keeping them and knowing their personalities, and you saw something that just clicked. And
Yeah.
Because you never know what that's going to turn into. I often tell this story. I was showing other clients a home, in the Century home, and I looked at the floor, and I took a picture of this old Century wooden floor, probably similar to the church that you sold in a sense, right? And I just sent it to other clients who I had previously taken out a year prior, and they weren't ready to buy. Right?
Mm,
They couldn't find what they're looking. I said, "You got to look at these floors. This is exactly what you're looking for." 2 months
mm,
later, we had sold their house and bought them something.
yeah.
From that
Right?
text.
From that text, right? Because you
Yeah.
never know,
That's a,
right? But
yeah.
knowing your clients, if I
Yeah.
hadn't taken the time, if you hadn't taken the time to create that relationship, it just would have been another transaction,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
And we have Colin and I have another friend, Ben Osterveld. He's been on our podcast before. He's out in Edmonton, and that's where his team is. And he coaches his team to not go get the listing, but to go find out what closing gift you're going to go buy them,
Hmm.
Mm,
which is forcing them, right? Forcing them to get into a relationship. And,
Yes.
and I have a
Yes.
feeling that's what you do really, that's what you are really good at, getting into relationships. Talk to us about how important that is.
it's critical, right? So, people want to do business with people they like, know, and trust, right? So, and what I always say is like, yes, that's true it's true in on both occasions, them for me and me for them, right? So the relationships, the be all end all, right? It's just literally essential. That's I don't know. I just don't know any other way to do it, right? So
So when you are with your clients, are you just listening to cues that are being said and you're taking notes of it? So at one point when you're out and you see something that piques their interest, you pick it up. Is that the way you're going about it?
yeah, like you know how people always kind of make their sales calls and oh I have to send 5 messages today. It's like I don't do that, but just like your example, Gary, where you took a picture of the floor and sent it to the clients, it's like that's what I like to do, where it's kind of more it's not forced, it's just a natural occurrence, right? Where it's like
Mhm.
hey, what's going on? Like, I'll send someone a message. I haven't talked to you for a while. I just went golfing and it made me think of how we used to go golfing, back when we worked at the golf course, like whatever it is, right? It just has to be natural. Just like how Colin, you talked about authentic. People more than ever want authentic. They don't want hey, I'm in a contest, I need to get at least 5 referrals today. Like if someone did that to me, it's like we're done. No offense if anyone
Interesting.
does that, right? But
Nice. Nice. Okay. Talk to us about your online presence and how you're servicing your clients that way, and what you say to your clients as you're taking a listing and the exposure that you can get for them online. Is that something that you're adding to your listing presentation or your value proposition, if you will?
I'm really not like your average person, because my business is very much based on relationships. So, and I always say I don't have scripts, but I do have things I say all the time, right?
Yeah.
Um, so that's kind of my listing presentation. And a lot of the times when people say, "Hey, Brian, we're thinking of selling our house. Let's see how much it's worth." It's kind of just it's just a conversation. Like it's nothing canned. Like we'll have comparables. We'll go over things, but I don't have to. I've already. By the time I get the message, I've already kind of won, right? I'm not there to sell them. They're already ready to go. They're good to go, right? So it's just more of a meeting, kind of a formal meeting, just to get things started. There's no, there's no sales involved, but maybe with that said, there is at a high level because they're already sold. It's, hey,
Yeah.
okay, here I am. Let's go.
Yeah. And you said something important there too, is, you don't have scripts, but you know what you're going to say, and you say the same thing over and over again. Like we always, of course it's a good foundation to learn some scripts, but if you don't, what's the old saying is memorize, internalize, and personalize, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
that to me, that personalization that comes out, or almost that some people, as we said earlier, need that freedom to be themselves. That to me is what creates, as Colin was saying earlier, that authenticity of a great agent, great relationship builder, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned the word best, and you're playing on the initials of your name, real estate team as well. Um, what what are you doing every day to become a better version of yourself? Because based on the little time that we've spent, I sense that what you did last month, you're no longer comfortable with that, and you're looking at constantly improving and getting better. Um, First, where is that coming from, and what are you doing to constantly push yourself to be better?
It's a good question. It's a good question. I guess for myself, like, things are always changing and growing, and it's almost natural, I think, for people to, keep growing, to keep getting better, right? So whether it's from reading books or, the conversations you're having, um, or just noticing little things in your business that you have to tweak. For myself, it's truly nothing major. Well, and I always say, kind of, when selling a listing or just general business success, it's no one big thing. It's just really a bunch of little things. So it's just more small tweaks along the way, staying consistent. And it's just like your classic diet. If someone decides, okay, I'm going to go on this diet and radically change, they're probably going to do that maybe for a week, and then they'll go back to how it was, right? But if you made small changes over time, that's where the power's at. So it's nothing major. It's just small tweaks. Just like we never did client events, and then okay, we did our first client event, and later, a couple years later, you add another one, and it's just those small things, right? It's nothing major, really.
Yep. Yeah, and what I'm reminded of too here, fellas, is Gary Keller talks about being 1% better every day, right? That's an easy accomplishment, but being 10, 20, 30% better, that's a tough pill to swallow, right? Or obstacle. 1% we can handle, right? And that gets compounded over time. It's the old domino effect. Yeah, very good. Very good. Good stuff. Okay, as we wrap up here, Brian, we know your business is continuing to grow, but what's next for the best team and Brian Ellis and his clients and his family? What's next?
What's next? It's we're just gonna keeping on, right? So we're ahead of schedule with our goals this year. Was an interesting year stepping into it, where we were in lockdown and you couldn't plan anything, right? No one knew how it was going to go, but obviously it turned out to be a very hot year. So what's best, or what's next? I mean,
oh, good. I like it. Nice little slip there.
we're just going to keeping on, no major changes. We're just going to keep doing what we're doing and just keep getting better at it. What's working is working, and we're just gonna keep on the pedal.
Okay. Remind us again what area you service, Brian.
So Waterloo region, so Kitchener, Waterloo, Cambridge, Guelph, and surrounding areas there.
Yeah, so that's
the KWC region.
Yeah, Kitchener-Waterloo region in Ontario, Canada, because people do listen to this all over the place. And when people do want to reach out to you, what's the best way to get connected to you? You mentioned it earlier, but what's the best way?
Yeah, follow me on Instagram. That's the best way. It's at Brian Keith Ellis.
Brian Keith Ellis. There you have it. Very good.
We can keep in touch. I can see what everyone else is about as well.
Yeah, awesome.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Very good. Well, Brian, it's a pleasure to have you with us and to learn more about your business and the social media aspect of it. But more importantly, yes, you can still have a tremendously big business and still operate it as an individual agent by the power of leverage. And that's what we kind of learned here today too, having that power of leverage and having the right people on your team, and as a sense from your men to everyone else. And that to me is a nice refresher. So thank you for all of that great info.
Awesome. Absolutely.
Very good. So for Brian Ellis, yes, go reach out to him. And for Sir Colin Campbell, you know how to get a hold of us. I'm Gary McGowan. We'll see everybody on the next show. Bye for now, everybody.